guys, welcome back. This game is freaking epic. It's basically the OG Spellcaster, which is Dark Magician, against the newer modern Spellcasters, which is Altergeist. Altergeist get a bit of a just the people just don't like the deck in general because it's very I guess it can be oppressive at times, you know, because it does what it does really well. But like it's just one of my favorite decks. It's the way it's designed, everything, the way it functions. It's so good. It just seems apparent of its weakness. That's why it gets disregarded most of the time. Okay, yeah, Twin Wizards you lose, Duster you lose, Lightning Storm you lose. Like of course, but like that's not the only scenario, right? But they're going up against. This is probably one of the best Dark Magician players I've ever played. He just knows the deck inside out. Like when I first played him, because we played it quite a few times already, and I just when I think okay, I should have this, it just ends up doing some crazy things. I'm like, what the fuck? It just really let me just go ahead and watch. You'll see what I mean. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so look at my hand. I've been testing which is strike cut often, and it's really good. Like I'm really liking it. Because it's like it seems like it's a bit risky into how you want to set it up, but not really, because it's a trap deck, and majority of the time you can sequence it off and time it really well. You're basically trading 2 cards for their entire hand and their entire field. Like, how is that not good? You know, like, how is that not amazing? Because odds are you can bait your opponent into a situation where they kind of it'll to make it inevitable, right? That's the whole purpose of this particular card. You want to make it to a point you know it will resolve. You don't just do it just for the sake of doing it, just because whenever they negate, you just shotgun it. No, you have to use it when you know it's inevitable, and that's when it's huge, and that's when it's impactful. Like most of the time, people are gonna be negating Faker, negating a particular trap like Crackdown, Torrent's Tribute, Nibiru. The amount of times I've set this and passed against like a Dragon Link, and they try to go off, and then I go when I summon a Herald, and then when they have like the Dragon Link stuff, I Nibiru them there because like they have to negate it, right? And then I just get resolution. The freaking dead. It happened at locals. It was hilarious. Well, let's continue with the replay because this is crazy. So it imperms my Mario, which it's kind of annoying because I play Haunted Rock, and since I play Haunted Rock, I have the link cross played, so it lets me have a boost consistency through link cross, right? Because I'll just link away the Hextia. Hextia gets me any card I'm missing, so that would have been really good because that would have gotten me manifestation, and then I have Faker access, which is really good. And then the Nibiru is just there as a contingency plan in case I get overwhelmed, but. He's playing Dark Magician. So I wasn't sure what he was playing, but I kind of assumed he was gonna play Dark Magician. That's like his deck, his favorite deck. I would rather get rid of the Mario here. Like I kind of had to trigger the Faker there though, which is kind of like a bit of a questionable. Like I mean I could have just end faced it, right? But like. I didn't want to let resources get lost, right? Let's say I get ashed or whatever. Let's say I get ashed, right? Then he'll crash the Mario, and then I would have gotten rid of my guide card in hand, so I lose both cards. Like that wouldn't be too bright. Like, you know, it's just, especially because I'm playing a higher card count deck. You kind of don't want to be doing that, so that's why I did it that way. And then it's going to continue. I resolved going with the Faker playing right, and then I do the link cross play now because he summons the Phantasme. And at this point I'm like, I should have this. Like I have a skill drain, I have set up with Hextia. Like there's no way I should lose this. Like there's no way. Like what are you gonna do? This is complete dominant right here. Like look at this. You have the Hextia negate. You have Protocol. You have a manifestation for like recurring. You know. And he tried to like force out the bait to banish my Hexia, and I had to just bounce it because I have skill drain anyways, so like I could afford to bounce the Protocol. So that's basically Protocol, and yeah. Go ahead and go. He goes. He starts getting a bunch of buttons on the board. I'm like, okay. So I assumed that he would try to get the materia out of Yugioh's zone, so he can use a particular spell. But then I was like, I still have Concretes. Why did he attack? I was like, okay, so yeah. So he goes and he attacks my Concrete. I was like, okay, what the heck? And he uses a spell. I'm like, what the? That's fucking summon that damn Dragoons. I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna get over that? Because the only way you can get over that is with skill drain up, or you have to like gradually get to enough materials to make a boar load to take it, or a boar sword, right? To pump it. So at this point, I'm like, did I just freaking lose? Did I just lose to like I was in total control? And this is what I meant. Like, what the hell? Like, it just. Oh my god, this is like, what the heck? So I go skill drain, and this is where I sequence the Witch's Strike, which is like, it was never, he had to. Otherwise, the Dragoons would be just useless, right? Would be useless. And this is why I love Witch's Strike. It's an equalizer, which is what Geist need, right? Because it's a very slow tempo deck, so whenever you get overwhelmed, you need this equalizer to kind of like control the tempo once again with your 1-for-1, with your bouncing, with your protocol, right? Which is why Nibiru's there, which is why Torrential's there, and yeah. Okay, so he goes and he negates it, right? And then I trigger the Witch's Strike, and everything's gone. He keeps his Dragoons though, but like, I'm thinking like, I should be okay. I should be okay because I have no materials, but then I forget. Wait, he can still pop 2 monsters. Like, oh my god, that was my way to get to the, you know? Okay, this is the perfect example of why I prefer Desires over Extravagance, because Desires lets you save your extra deck, and extra deck just puts this deck on a different level. It just makes it completely different. Like, it just gives you the toolbox that you just normally wouldn't have. Like, you wouldn't have the toolbox. Like right now, how would I out this if I didn't have my extra deck? Like, how would I out this with this hand? I wouldn't be able to. And these are generically Geist cards, right? Nibiru's not so much, but these are generically Geist cards. Like, how would you out it without, you know, like how? It's on 4K. Even the Hextia at 31 won't get over it. So then this is where I'm like, thank God. Oh my god, look at this. And then this is where I take it. I'm like, oh my god, that's so freaking cool. That was freaking awesome, man. Yeah, but I'm a really big fan of the deck. So then I was seeing my hand. I'm like, this hand's decent, I guess. I need to hopefully draw into evenly matched, or like a Witch's Strike to set up this, to set this up again, because 1-for-1 against this particular deck that can pump out Dragoons quite fast is kind of scary, like, because you can do it so easily. Like, so easily. Like, look at it. You just get 2 buys on the board and do it there. Like, oh my god. Yeah, he gets Verte. He does this. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, turn 1 Dragoons with that. Like, that's crazy. I draw evenly, right? I draw evenly. And I'm like, well, if this is 2 evenlies, that would be fine, you know, because I have enough, you know, to generate like after. But oh my god, look at this. See what I mean? I get over that because he could just summon another one. So I was like, I did not want that to happen. He pops it, I chain, and he negates, right? So I'm taking no damage, and then I trigger figure. I'm just trying to build a wall right here, right? I'm trying to build a wall. He pops it, right? And he summons. And I should have read this card, because this card is whenever it gets destroyed, it summons a Dark Magician and a Dark Magician Girl from hand, deck, or graveyard. I was like, oh my god, what the heck, dude? Like, what do you want to do? Wait, I'm confused. Does this summon it in defense mode? Oh, what the hell? I think I cheated. I don't think it mattered though, because he still had game. So yeah, this summons it in face up, in face down defense position. You can only use. Yeah. Okay, my mistake, man. So but I guess it didn't really matter though, because it'd be game regardless, because I can't really stop the Dragoons. Yeah. Yeah, it's game. It was game regardless. Oh, interesting. It sets it. I'm not sure what Simon let it go through then. Oh, so you need to play anti-spell inside deck for games 2 and 3. It's like you lose to Lightning Storm, you lose to Duster. Like, oh my god, like, you know, Twisters, yeah, okay, but like at least it's you're losing 2 and they lose a card, so you're trading off 2 for 2. So it shouldn't be as huge as if you're to lose Lightning Storm. Like, Lightning Stormcaster 1 card for 4 or 1 card for 5. You just don't want that to happen. Like, you don't. And this is why I max out on these guys, because like you're always gonna have this and Seek, so you're always gonna have your engine, like no matter what. If it gets ashed, like if I don't have Faker, you know, then you can still have access to Faker, which is why I like maxing on this, because it's just really good. Run pass. I keep this in case he does have twisters, or if he has evenly, right? I don't want to be like losing this, because like I feel like the spoofing and the anti-spell is enough to I guess to get me by, right? Because like if he just like if he has a way to clear my board, like I at least have like imperm Faker, right? Like that's like a contingency plan, and even if he doesn't, then I still have the imperm and set it next turn. So he goes. This is where I start getting kind of scared. I'm like, what's he doing? He's still going. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, what's he gonna do? I thought I was gonna go Verte here. That's what I thought. But I think he's just keeping bodies on board, just keeping the pressure with big beaters. He sets everything, and this is where I just start bouncing stuff, because you know, I just don't want to get rid of, like, yeah. Draw Mario. I didn't have to. I was debating on whether keeping the Manny, because sometimes you change to the spoofing, right? But I felt like keeping it on the field, so when I link away this guy, I can add it back, right? So it's just more resources. Instead of a monster, I got a trap. Okay, so then I go, and right here I'm thinking like, okay, so I have to pick his board apart, because I don't want any like funny business. Because I like if these are spells, then most likely set them, right? But it was Eternal Souls, and it was this card. But I wanted to hit the unknown, because I knew he had this card, but I wanted to hit this card. But at the time, I didn't know what this was. So I was like, going back to it, this is why I like Desires over Extravagance, because it just lets you have the toolbox that you just wouldn't necessarily have with Extravagance, right? So I pick his board apart, and then I summon Faker. And most people don't realize that you can still summon Faker, but the only time you get restricted is if you summon from your deck, right? And that's where most people miss, and that's what I liked about this. You see what I mean? Watch. Look at that. I Cerberus, pop his guy's draw card, right? And I just need to link climb into access code, right? And that's what I just want to diminish his entire resources. Pop, right? And I pass. And right now I have everything set up. Like, there's no way. Like, what? Anti-spell, no spells. It's a spellcaster deck. He needs his spells. He needs his spells. And I have Effect Negator. I have double Manny and Faker. Like, how insane is that? Like, if I was playing regular guys, I would not have this option. Like, I wouldn't have, they would still have their stuff. I would have like a board presence, but this way I cleared their board and I have my field presence. Like, that's crazy. How crazy is that? And then he's like, he opened Dusters. I'm like, oh my god. And he just scoops, and that's basically it. But that's crazy. How crazy is this? OG Spellcasters Dark Magician taking on Altergeist. So Altergeist taking on the mighty Dark Magician. Oh my god. Yeah, but like, I understand that some of you don't like this deck, but like, you have to like understand it can be quite complex. It's not like flipping traps. Of course it is. That's like the main focal point, like flip traps, reveal Faker, right? But like, just sequencing your deck the way I guess the way I constructed it, it just seems like a different deck compared to, like, I've tried Extravagance builds, and it's just not the same. Like, sometimes it is enough, right? Sometimes it is, but I feel like the deck just needs a little bit of an edge to compete right now, because Dragon League is insane. But I'll go ahead and show you the deck list. Hang on. Okay, so here's the deck list, right? It's 50 cards because I play Desires, and I hated, like, because you have so many normal summons, 3, 6, 9, 12. You have 12 normal summons, right? And you would rather see traps than normal summon monsters, right? Because like, consistency wise, this can deal with any sort of I guess aggressive pushes. Whereas if you open up multiple monsters, they can't really do anything. Like, if you open up like Mario, Faker, Seek, and like one trap, you're losing that game. You're not gonna, unless they open it really weak. you're gonna lose that game. So I wanted to filter it out and open up more traps and one or two of these monsters. Most of the time you draw one or two, right? Just one. But there are those chances where you open up one, which is I mean more than two, which is kind of annoying because like statistics is not meant to be that way, but it's Yu-Gi-Oh, so yeah. So basically that's the whole purpose of me bumping it to 50, and because I value the extra deck. I value the toolboxiness of it. It just adds another layer that the deck just makes the deck a completely different deck. And then of course you have your strikes. Main deck in Solemns, I've never liked main deck in Solemns in this deck. Like it's because your weakness is going second. Like this is just promoting going first all day. And game one you don't always go first, and that's why you have like these particular cards. Like this is good going second. Same thing as this, which is why I'm playing this, is good going second. Like this sequence stuff with any of your other traps makes this live. And you trade, like I said, you're trading 2 cards for just their entire hand and entire field. Like how crazy is that, man? That's crazy. And it's just an equalizer. Same thing why you play this, an equalizer, right? And these are just 2 of the best hand traps right now. So you kind of have to play it because going second kind of sucks. Like against Dragon League, you just Nibiru right before they make the Savage. You just go Nibiru, chain this, and then you tribute the driver, so you can use it again, right? And then since you have the extra deck, you can use this to link it away, which is really good. Same with Imperm, right? Imperm Nibiru is amazing, and Skill Drain. It's another blanket type of thing. It just lets you have your effects alongside Protocol. Like how good is that? Like it's an out to Dragoons. Majority. That's basically it's an out to Dragoons because Dragoons is such like a nuisance to deal with, right? Because you can't destroy it, you can't target it. That's basically what this deck does. Targeting and destruction. That's what this deck does, and you can't do that to that. So you kind of need that to do that, and it's just all around good. Like if you open up this in Protocol, you're pretty much set. Like all their effects are negated. You don't even have to use Protocol, and all of your effects won't be negated because it's immune, which is really, really cool. And then the side deck is very standard. Like it's mainly for like back row decks. Like if you want to use back row decks, it's like against mirror matches or against Eldritch, right? You need these type of things. Or when you go first, right? When you go first, put this in, and then you save from Lightning Storm. But apart from that, the decks, I'm a big fan of the deck. It's like I'm not sure if it's like I don't know. I really enjoyed this deck. It's really fun for me. The way I have to like think it out, sequence out things. But I guess you have to get to a more in-depth perspective on the game when you consider these type of decks, right? Because like it's very interactive. Of course, if you get angry really easy, it's not gonna. Of course, you get angry going up against this deck because it seems very linear, you know, because of how it's meant to function. But there's some complexities that I really enjoy. But that's gonna be it. Hopefully enjoy the video. Subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.